The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
Let's get this thing started. Hey, Modern Jeepers, it's another episode of the ModernJeeper Show with me, Madsen from Metalcloak, and Mr. Modern Jeeper, Corey Osborne.
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I am good. But I'm kind of feeling sad because we're missing Jessie.
Yeah, she decided that she needed to go and see her family for Christmas or something. I don't know.
It's
So
not Christmas yet. It's like over a week away.
Well, we made a deal, and she said that. Well, I told her she couldn't be gone on holidays anymore, because for a year.
Oh wow.
She's never here on a holiday. So
you told her.
I suggested it.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, right.
Yeah, it was a suggestion.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's gosh, man, it is. Can you believe that in a couple of weeks we're gonna be like done with 2020?
It's you'd mentioned it the other night when we chatted. This ending of this year seems to be kind of a starting over point.
You would hope
somewhat. Yeah, something.
Yeah, you'd hope. But I'm just excited that I don't have to write 2020 when I write the dates anymore. I can go back to just writing the 21, right?
Right.
21.
Yeah.
Of course, how long is it going to be before we go 21, 20? We're all going to be stuck. This is like a major engram on society. 2020 is going to be this mole stuck on our butts for a long time.
Well, you remember how we started the year, right? Because we deemed it as going to be the year of focus and clarity and
vision and so much going on. And oh my God, we're going to be I know. It was like everybody had these great plans for the new decade, only to be whacked. Now, wait a second. There's a question for you.
What's that?
Because Y2K had this question as well. Does 2020 start the new decade?
Oh yeah, this is that whole when does
or
it stop?
Is it 1 through 10, or is it 0 through 9?
Right. No, I don't think there's a winner in this.
There's no winner in this. And is it worth the effort to the fight?
Yeah, right.
Modern Jeeper community, if you have an opinion, please share it at ModernJeeper.com. Which, by the way, we are still having trouble with the comment section, but we are paying attention to what you're saying because we can see it. However, and we have had a couple of Modern Jeepers reach out and say, we kind of know WordPress a little bit. I'm happy to help. So it is a WordPress site. And if you guys understand and know that, and maybe you have something, maybe we can have a little swag trade for your effort and your support. But
yeah, in fact, and Michael Scott reached out to us, and he had said that he's kind of familiar with stuff, and we may have to do that. I've kind of gone through it as my very limited knowledge. I mean, Madsen and I initially set that whole site up from a blank sheet of paper, and it's worked very well over the last 4.5 years. But there's so many things internally to the themes that we run and how the website looks and feels and all of the plugins and all that stuff. In fact, I got to apologize to some of our followers that maybe were looking at the site going, why are these articles from 2015 popping up?
Right.
And literally that was a plugin that kind of, for sites that don't have a lot of content, it recycles some of the old stories to keep everything fresh. Well, we don't have what they call real evergreen type of stories. Some of them are. Our lifestyle stories are typically what we would call evergreen, which means they're good for they're timeless.
They're good
but
for
ever. Yeah. But our industry news and things like that, which it seemed to pick on a little bit more, they were talking, it was like, hey, Jeep might come out with a truck.
Right.
Yeah.
I saw that one. Like, wait a second. There's something wrong with that article. Oh, is this a new truck?
Yeah, it's a new truck.
This is the 2-door. It was the 2-door that you're looking for. Right.
Right. Yeah. So
that's cool. But it's fun every once to see that stuff pop up. But when all of a sudden all your articles are that way, you're like,
Yeah, what's happening? And it was
Uh,
posting literally like it would throw up 3 and 4 stories a day, and I'm like, "What's causing this? Why is that wrong?" Yeah. Uh,
oh yes, technology. But yeah, so it's a WordPress site. As Corey said, we started from the blank paper. I think my paper was kind of wrinkled and crumbled when I started with it, but and Corey's, even with Corey's tech background, it's been WordPress is fun and it's good to use and it's great, but at the same time, and it's great when you have a lot of collaborators and we have a lot of people putting
yes.
stuff in. So it's made for a great platform. And I heard some weird statistic that something like 25% or maybe more, 40% of the world's websites are on WordPress.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I know that we've struggled over the last couple of years with the site will slow down for us on the back end side. We'll go to post something and it'll kind of kick us out, and you can really tell during certain times of the day, especially around that 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock Mountain Time, when it's 7 a.m. in California and 10 back east. Things are like I've learned to just not post during those times because it's a struggle to upload and get things to work right. So it's worked really well, and I think it's a good. It started out kind of just a blog site about what I was doing every day, and kind of a way for us to show the media side of Modern Jeeper, and
Mhm.
it's really evolved into good information, and we try to stay relevant, and we don't talk politics like we sometimes get into in the podcast. um
What are you talking about?
no
I've had a
it,
few. I've had a few posts, but
well, this year, how can we not go
right,
down that road
right.
sometimes? So yeah,
And we do
it's
have
been
Don
fun.
Amador, who is a great political leader when it comes to public access. He's done a few posts there, but it is a great, and honestly, for our community out there, if you're a writer or an aspiring writer, or even just somebody who likes to take photos and share them, we are more than happy to bring your content onto Modern Jeeper. We're always looking. It's not some exclusive group about 5 or 6 guys all here, out here doing stuff. It's anybody out there. I mean, we want the Modern Jeeper community to be a way for any of you to share your passion, stories that you
Absolutely.
have, places that you've gone, things that you do, photos you want to share, blogs you're doing regularly. Any of that kind of stuff is totally cool for it. We've had people come through and spend a year or two sharing with us, maybe their own blog, and that's like what it's all about, is just sharing experiences so that other people can learn those experiences and go and enjoy them as well.
That's exactly right. And it's kind of like not everybody is going to like what I write. Not everybody's going to like what Matson writes. We try to mix it up to give people some variety of kind of the perspectives of what goes on all over the country. I'm blessed and thankful for the fact that I get to do what I love doing, and traveling to different places and kind of putting that perspective out there. And those kind of seem to be our popular stories. So when we bring people in from other areas of the country and they've wheeled other trails and other parks and build other Jeeps, hearing their stories, I mean, I, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the pictures for those of you that are watching us on YouTube. And this week is interesting because I don't know, after 95 podcasts, Matson and I are now both wearing headphones, and we
We are.
have microphones, and
These things are so big. Like, these are the big encompassing, right? Headphones. I feel like a DJ. I feel I should be singing like, dun, 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 dun. But I told you,
there's
I've been listening to a lot of techno music when
which
I'm
has
working
scared
at three
me.
o'clock in the when I'm working at 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I have a Pandora channel. I don't know how Pandora works anymore. Back in the day, you could actually search for people's channels. Oh, I hit my mic. That was like a rookie amateur move right there. Um, and you could have, like, you could dial in, like, somebody else had a channel you created, you can make it public. Well, I have one called Matsonian's Design Mood, and all it is techno, so Daft Punk and Chemical Brothers and all that, right? But that going at 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm working on something that is purely design, creative, nothing, not writing, because it doesn't get me into the writing mood, but into the other stuff, doing data and all that kind of stuff. I can just have that going. So it's going boom, boom, boom. Now the way my mind works is, I've right now I got a song going in my head. Like, that never shuts off. And I think in a different era, I'd probably be considered schizo with this music. There's music playing in my head. Oh my God, there's music. Like it never shuts off. Thankfully, right now it's techno and not like Fireman Sam or PJ Masks or something else that usually is. Like, although now I just mentioned it, now it's going in.
Now it's going to be in your head. Yeah.
Right. Now, yesterday I was pretty bad because I had to mention to my wife the thing going through my head was the theme music for the show Shameless from Showtime.
Interesting. Yeah.
My wife loves that show. I could take it or leave it. It's kind of an interesting thing to get into, but it's such a raunchy, like I just don't get into it. Like all you're gonna see is just like the worst side of man and life, but and hope that something comes out of it. I don't know if we watch it because it makes us feel better about ourselves. I don't know, but that music was going in my head, and I'm like, oh God. So but right now it's techno. So I've got the headphones on, and I'm just going a little Daft Punk, like.
Interesting.
So,
well, I think creativity, and you and I have talked about that in the past. Creativity is definitely something that even when we're working on our Jeeps in the garage or on a trail, Jesse likes to listen to music on the trail and loud, and that's what kind of gets her moving and motivated and excited. Whereas when I'm on the trail, I love music. Don't get me wrong, but when I'm on the trail, for some reason, I feel like I'm focused in a different way. But in the garage, we're working on Jeeps. The music's playing. If I'm at the computer, I think it's very interesting because I think creativity plays such a huge role in our personalities. So when we're writing something or putting together a story, I know that the story will be a direct reflection of whatever music I'm playing. The text starts to get a little like if it's, I don't know, if it's 70s or 80s type music, I tend to get real philosophical and real like thinking about life and that perspective. But if it's more current type music, I'm very focused on just get the story done. I don't know. It's interesting.
So here's what's funny. When I used to have to write a lot, and I mean really deep creative, try to figure out this because like my audience were educators, and I was like having to pretend I was, a PhD writing. I would play not Mexican, but Spanish music. I would play Hispanic music. I would play a lot of the flamenco guitars and all that kind of music. Yeah, not Mexican music. The mariachi bands did not inspire me. I love mariachi bands, but mariachi bands are not going to inspire me to write. But Gypsy Kings and that kind of music and the very South American music, that music, for whatever reason, and it's partly because I don't speak Spanish. The words aren't bothering me because I'm not thinking with those words. You know what I mean? And so it's simply music in the background that is, unfortunately, I'm ignorant of what they're actually saying, but it's beautiful no matter what it is. It's absolutely beautiful. I would play that music when I write. And that's one of my channels, right? One of my channels, Matsonian's writing or whatever. Then I have the music that I play when I'm in the garage. So when I'm in the garage working and I'm not listening to a podcast, there's a lot of times I'll just put my headbuds on and be listening to somebody else's podcast. I'm listening to like Tool and that heavy music, and that's Matsonian's Hard Day. That's that channel, right? So it's the different moods for different music. Now in the house, it's kind of funny because I'll play disco music. Like I love 70s disco music for the kids. Stuff. It's just fun, right? It's just that old fun music, and we'll do that. Although Josh, my little 4-year-old, absolutely loves, even though he's like totally getting into breakdancing now, but he hasn't gotten into rap. He will go and try to breakdance to like Back in Black by AC/DC or We Are the Champions, right?
Boy.
He loves Queen, he loves AC/DC. I mean, he's 4 years old and he goes over Alexa and says, Alexa, Back in Black. And he'll start playing.
That's
so
funny.
It's fun to do. So yeah, music is amazing.
It is.
Sometimes, I don't know about you, but I find music, sometimes I'm a percussion junkie. Sometimes I like the music better than the words. Only recently that I start really trying to get into some of the words. And sometimes you listen to them and go, wow, those are actually amazing lyrics.
Right.
But for the most part, I've always been kind of it's just the beat. It's just the music
Yeah,
going.
it's the rhythm of the song and it's the sounds of the song. The fact that there's words and there's a story being told. Sometimes some songs are more geared towards that, where it's about that story, but other songs, yeah, I'm kind of very similar. I don't pay attention so much to what the story is. People go, "Oh, that's so sad," he loses his dog or whatever, and I'm like, "What? There's a dog?
Right. Oh, it's a country song. He lost his dog, lost his wife, lost his,
Yeah,
something.
play it backwards and get
But
everything back."
right. But and it's kind of funny because I've had girlfriends who have like, and one in particular who wasn't I'm not a great writer, but I love these lyrics. Like she would take and write the lyrics to a song down into a letter for me and send it to me. Like
Wow.
the lyrics meant that much to her. It was like I mean, what's that from? That's from something like, really?
Yeah, I
Or
had no
it's
idea.
or in some cases like Perfect Circle. So Perfect Circle, Maynard from Tool over at Perfect Circle, beautiful music. But you start listening to the lyrics, you're like, boy, these guys are a bunch of like atheist dicks.
Yeah, I don't like this at
I
all.
don't like this at
It's
all.
a
It's like
it's a great song, but
it's a great song, but man, they're just like telling us anybody who's a Christian's a friggin', bitch whore.
right.
I think I got to bleep that out now or call this an explicit episode. But it's just sad. So anyway, now here's the real Jeep question though, because you
Okay.
mentioned Jesse likes to drive with the music on. So there's the Jeepers, and when I first got into Jeeping, I was an adventurer, backpacker, and I loved the serenity of the woods. I loved what they call forest bathing. Right? You can sneeze. It's okay. It's okay, Corey. You're muted still. There you go.
I thought I was gonna sneeze, I did not.
You did
It's
not.
okay.
It's there. Was everybody who was watching? There was quite a scene because he bent back.
And then it went away.
Um, the forest bathing or I love being out in the woods, but I love the serenity and quiet of it. And you start going to Jeep events out there on the Rubicon and some other places, and it's just music everywhere. And I'm like, oh, this is
Different.
not, yeah, it's not serenity.
Right.
And nothing wrong with it. I love it, absolutely love it. But there are the people that come out there and they have the speakers and they've done all the extra cans and they've got everything going, and it's just all about the party going through. And then there's people that are there about the trail and about the experience and about the woods. I mean, I think I know where you sit on it, but I don't know. It's tough because I love both sides, but I would honestly prefer not to have the music blasting when I'm out there going through the trail.
Well, and I think it's funny because at certain events, of course, it kind of commands a certain Jeeper, or the party does take place, and a lot of the Jeep events back east that are on the beaches and things like that, they're kind of geared towards the guy with the 4011 speakers and 9,000 watts and all that. So being in the mountains or being on the Rubicon or being in a forest, I think is definitely a little bit different. And I'm guessing that the majority of Jeepers are similar. So I guess we should present that as a question.
Yeah.
Not that nobody else can see the comments yet, but you should comment on the podcast and on the post. If do you prefer to listen to music while you're on the trail, or would you rather it be quiet and focused? What's your preference?
Yeah. What is your preference? Because and I get it. There are times where it's just fun to be out there and party, but and maybe it's different locations too. Because
Yeah.
I'd say that going on the Rubicon, I like the serenity of the Sierras, right? And you going up Fordyce, the serenity of the Sierras, and it's just there's something about the Sierras that are just amazing. And in that, and it just brings calmness to me. Even when you're out there going over these boulders and going over this stuff and having fun, your Jeeps are getting beat up and everybody's having a great time. You get somebody stuck. It's still serene. Now maybe that's different. Out in Johnson Valley, that's a different world, man. I kind of
Yeah.
expect everything to be loud, right? I kind of
Well, and here's I'll throw this out there, and I'm probably going to end up getting some hate mail or something because of it. But
hate mail, still
there's
fan mail.
that's right. The some of the rigs that we've seen at a place like Jeep Beach in Daytona, and there's some manufacturers of some products out there that Those Jeeps aren't going to be on the Rubicon Trail. I'll just leave it at that. Uh,
Right.
they're not going to make it. And oh, by the way, all that stereo equipment in the back, well, I guess you're going to have to like live in your speaker box when you go to sleep because you're not
Right.
carrying anything else with you. So
Right. Yeah, that's true. That is very true. There've definitely been some rigs you'd see. Like, have you ever gone to? Have you back when you were down in SoCal do the Sand Sports Super Show?
oh yeah.
Yeah. So awesome show,
Yep.
great people, fantastic stuff. But it is not about rigs that are going to go do the Rubicon,
No,
right?
no,
It's
not so
about
much.
desert life, sand
Yes.
sports, desert living, which is all, hey, I'm in the middle of no place and I got my speaker boxes, I got my LEDs, I got my lit flag, and we're having a party. And you know
Not that
what?
there's anything wrong with that.
It's totally cool and totally fine. And that's kind of what I would expect to be out there in the middle of no place, right?
Absolutely.
It's just that you don't want to necessarily take that attitude and that point of view when you go do something like the Rubicon,
Absolutely.
right?
So today, our most recent story that went up on the website this morning is, of course, Jeep just released the new Wrangler
Mhm,
hybrid,
mm,
um, and I learned a little bit this morning because I think that we have deemed and have been talking about this Jeep as the 4xe.
right.
Well, it's not. There's no X in there.
It's a 4E.
It's the 4 by E.
It's not 4XE, it's 4 by E.
4 by E.
By E,
Bye.
by
Yeah,
E. Right. Let's see how well that actually happens in the community because I'm sure
right.
it's going to be the 4XE.
It is a play on 4 by 4, of
Right,
course,
right,
and I
right.
kind of was thinking about it as more like the 4 by electric is what
Mhm,
E could stand for or something
mhm.
along those lines. Um, but one of the things that kind of struck me is so, again, there's all this following for hybrid type vehicles, and especially out in California, and the folks that have driven hybrids and are all into fuel economy. And then the opposite side of that coin is that Jeep releases this Hemi powered 392 rig as kind of almost the same timing as they're coming out with this 4 by E vehicle.
Mhm.
But what I found interesting was that this hybrid, quote unquote, hybrid vehicle, that's a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with
Mhm.
2 electric motors.
Mhm.
That Jeep produces more torque than the Hemi powered 392 and the diesel. So all these
Wow.
guys out there going, man, I'm all about the horsepower and the big motor, and I can blow the doors off anything. And I'm going to buy
Mhm.
a diesel because it's all that torque and it's this
Mhm.
massive, guys, that 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged hybrid got more torque. Sorry,
He got torque, got hybrid.
got torque, got hybrid.
Wow, that's interesting. That is some interesting trivia right there. Which would you rather have?
407 470 foot-pounds of torque and 375 horsepower out of a 2-liter.
2-liter.
Yeah,
Well, I'll tell
yeah.
you, Will has the 2-liter here,
Mhm.
and he loves it. I mean, it's just like he just absolutely loves it. And he's built his up. It's got 40. He's got fusion axles. I mean, there's nothing stock about the undercarriage anymore, and he loves it. I mean, just there's nothing about that rig that he hasn't in the mileage he's getting. Right. And, I wanted the orange Gladiator, so I had to go for the 3.6 because that's all that's available in orange
Right,
on
right,
the Gladiator. So even when they come out the diesel, they're not going to have it in orange or
right.
pumpkin. But it'd been fun to kind of play with that. So we'll see. We'll see. We've already
Yeah,
had customers like lining up and buying the 392 and bugging us about what we're going to have for it. So you just got to give it off to Jeep to have so many options for people. On the one hand, it's
man.
confusing, but that's so if you were to buy something today and you had your choice, like a blank slate choice of a JL to buy, what would you get?
Until today, I would have probably, the diesel is appealing to me just because, um, it's a diesel, and I'm used to the diesel trucks and that kind of thing. And I thought, well, that would be kind of interesting. What is unappealing to me is the fact that uh, diesel exhaust fluid putting death in a Jeep just
Right.
seems just seems wrong. And of course, the first comment you get on any forum is, "Well, just delete it." Well, yeah, because I just bought this $55,000 rig, and I think I'll just go ahead and void EPA standards and my warranty, and I'll just delete it.
Right.
Like, come on.
Well, you can't really do that if you're in California. Now, if
That's
you're in
exactly right.
Colorado, that's what they do. They delete it and, whatever. But some places
Yeah.
you can't get away with that, guys.
No. So after reading a little bit more about this hybrid, I got to tell you, that Jeep could be pretty special. Now, my concerns, and I had to thought this morning, and I was in the middle of charging my phone because I hadn't charged it for 2 days with this. This is the 12 Pro Max, and the
Wow.
folks that followed me like knew my 11 Pro, the battery just disintegrated because I upgraded too early in some software.
Right.
Anyway, I'm charging my devices, and I'm charging this, and I'm charging that, and our whole life these days seems like we spend more time charging things. We're going to now spend time charging our cars.
Mm.
All this electricity, it just seems to just come out of the air. It's really cool. There's no coal-fired plants that create it, because now that you can get a hybrid vehicle, that electricity is just magically there.
Are we going to get environmentalists all of a sudden?
I was trying not to, and then it just
You started sounding it there, like cold fire plants, man, nuclear
so
power, wind
I'm gonna
energy.
I'll I'm gonna just preface this with, as I'm getting older, I think I'm getting more skeptical, and uh, I'm becoming more Mandalorian, and I'm just this is not the way.
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 This is
Wow.
the
So,
way. This is not the way.
well, and it's interesting because you're right though. If you look at this whole push towards electric powered vehicles, and let's take Tesla for example. Okay, Tesla, what is Tesla's mission? Tesla's mission is for everybody to be driving electric because it's going to save the planet. Right, but there's still the necessity to produce that electricity. Right now, Tesla's trying to offset that by getting everybody on solar and having the power walls. So they're trying to create a all-in-one solution, a vertically integrated solution that you're creating your power, you're saving your power, and you're putting it into your devices and your vehicles and your lifestyle. And then the power stations all across the country, where the power stations are supposed to be, like I know they were working towards having those be solar powered, right? So there's self-standing power stations. Somebody like yourself, you've got a large piece of property out there. Well, that's great. You can do solar panels for how many months out of the year, right? And then otherwise you're out there constantly. I don't know. Maybe they have de-icing ones that automatically de-ice a little bit of heat, and so they stay clean. They probably do. I'm sure it absolutely
Well,
exists.
and
But
again, all of those screens that the solar panels are made from, those magically appear. They don't have to be, the minerals mined out of the earth to create this panel so that
that happens in a different country.
right.
It
Yes.
doesn't affect Americans. It's all imported from some other country. Let China and the other parts of the country, affect their own land, right?
Right.
That's the insane argument. What are you doing?
I had to, because it was just sitting there and I had to grab it. So again, this is my little, my Goal Zero Yeti 200 battery, lithium battery that I bought so that I can go out in the middle of nowhere and still charge my devices.
So this is our tech item of the week, right? Remember,
Yeah,
we were going to do that gadget of the week. This is our gadget of the week right here.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
that's
pretty cool.
Is that heavy?
It's not. It's fairly light.
Wow. And what's that? Does everything? Can that like start a vehicle and do all that?
No, not at all. So it will it'll charge your iPhone like 87 times or some crazy number.
Okay.
But it does have a little 120 watt AC plug on it,
Hmm.
as well as a 12-volt plug,
Hmm.
um, UBC charging ports, as well as USB charging ports. What's interesting, this is they're not cheap, and of course they're lithium batteries in them. I got this the first one I got wouldn't charge up, so I called Goal Zero, and they said, "Oh, that's really odd," and um, there's nothing we can do about it because you just basically send it back, and we'll send you one that works. And I thought, okay, so I don't know. It just kind of plays into my whole mind of this eco stuff where technology is great when it works. If
Right.
it doesn't work, we just throw it away, right? Because or dispose of it properly if it's battery devices. Um, I don't know how I feel about. I bought a battery so that I can charge my phone when we're, say, in Death Valley or on the Rubicon or something like that, because that's our main important thing, right? Is being able to have our devices
Mm.
when we're out in the middle of nowhere. Um, I just recently had to replace the two batteries, two in a Dodge diesel pickup, and these are the batteries that I have in the Metalcloak truck in the CTI Tour tow rig. They've been in there for about 4 years. That truck's about 4 years old, about 140,000 miles. And when you start to lose, it wouldn't start in the mornings. So I had a little jump pack actually that I had purchased a number of years ago. I'd never used it. I have two, and there'll be an upcoming review about these different jump packs. Um, the one, good ratings on Amazon, will work great in a car. That thing will not start a diesel pickup, not even close. It didn't want to play with it at all. The other one, I actually used it to start the truck a handful of times, because once I ran it around it in a day, it was fine. It was the following morning I'd go out to start it, and it said no bueno. But again, so $350 or something later for two new batteries for the truck, it works fine. Um, I had little lithium battery packs to charge the batteries that are in the truck to get me where I needed to go. I've got batteries for the drones I'm charging. I've got batteries for the cameras I'm charging. I, how many I've got chargers that I don't even know what they do, what they go to. We have cords and plugs and oh, it's
I think
craziness.
I think all the work you've been doing in your mom's house lately is you're starting to feel like a little bit like a. Are you a technology hoarder?
Yes. Um, and which, when we came up with the name Modern Jeeper, you figured out this name that was going to fit kind of who I was and what I was doing at the time. And I'm a gadget guy, but I'm feeling a little bit, uh, I don't know, a little overwhelmed. We try to go to events and we try to enjoy the events, but we're also kind of involved with capturing so much of the information to be able to share it with our followers and our friends and our fans. um, Sometimes I think we miss out on what's really going on, because and you're similar in a way. Scott Becker is very similar. Like, we all go to places, and I can't wait to get out all my gear.
Mhm.
Well, that's really frustrating when, you know what, out of these bags of gear and equipment, we're going to forget the one thing that we actually need.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I always feel more comfortable when I go on a road trip. When the sooner I remember what I forgot, the better I feel, because
Yes.
it's always something. But
Always.
if not, you're bugged the entire time. What did I forget? What did I forget? What did I forget? Oh, yeah, I forgot that one. Okay, that's good. I feel better now. But
Well,
you know,
and
you
it is interesting because size wise, we are getting to the point where we can carry so much stuff with us that it makes sense to. Like, why not just take a? I've got a couple of really big yellow North Face duffel bags that are really sturdy and heavy duty. I can throw everything in there. Well, what's funny is when I come home after 2 weeks on the road and I haven't opened it.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, at a
Um,
certain point of preparedness, it is over prepared. Now it's tough for you because you do go on these long trips, right? And
True.
like I'm actually considering, and I haven't figured it out yet. It may or may not happen, but I'm considering because I've there's this whole idea of technology. vacations, right? You're taking breaks from it. I'm considering next week. I was trying to do this on Sundays, where just Sunday was no phone Sunday, right?
Nice.
Just put it aside. And I might that might be my goal in 2021 to see if I can maintain that. But I was considering doing a technology fast the last week of the year. Like, just put my phone
Wow.
aside, put my phone aside and don't use it for the last week. Like, there's still obvious ways you have to communicate and do other stuff. And I'm still on the computer and things like that. But what if I just put my phone down for a week and didn't use it? And just said, okay, that's it. And you can put your messages like, guys, I don't have my phone with me today. If you need to get a hold of me, you can email me. And just using the time when I'm sitting in front of the computer as my email time or as my communication time, or I can do some chats on the computer if they need to, but put that addiction of the phone away.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a fabulous idea. I mean, I try to I go in spurts. Like for a while there, I was really anti Facebook, anti social media stuff. Uh, it's hard though because we're also accustomed now, and that's how we get some of our information and figure out if how people are doing. Um, but it's lost that feeling of Facebook used to be, this is how I find out where the friends that I went to high school with,
right.
what they're doing and how my family's doing. Now it's political, it's misinformation or somebody's perspective, or it becomes a competition of who's doing what today, and it's going to make me feel bad because then I feel like I'm not doing enough. Like I need to be doing more because these people are obviously all having a blast and I'm not. Like I had to work or do whatever, and it
Yeah.
becomes really mental. And I think our younger generation feels that every day, and it is a giant competition, which is unfortunate.
It is. And I think what you hit on there, because no matter what the platform is, if it's TikTok or it's Instagram or Facebook, the Facebook general age population is us, right? It's not, the 20 somethings aren't getting onto Facebook, right? In fact, if I look at our fan base and the groups that going in and saying, hey, we like Metalcloak, blah blah blah, increasingly these are all people that have had Facebook accounts since like 9, 10, 11, 12, right? From those years. It's not a lot of people joining just now to be on Facebook, and it's definitely not a younger generation. The younger generation you're finding on
Right.
Instagram, and now they're doing TikTok, and there's going to be something else that pops up that's the coolest thing. But it is still that competition. Like, oh no, I posted a video and nobody liked it. I mean, and I hear
Right.
that from adults. I hear that from people around who are like, hey, can you go like that? Like I posted it and nobody's liking it. So,
Yeah. Right. Well,
it's
and
like,
it is from a business perspective, it is where we kind of came from the growth of this quote unquote brand ambassador.
mm,
And well, I have all these followers, so obviously I'm an influencer.
mhm.
Well, but your followers could be 12-year-olds from China. You don't know. And that was kind of the beauty of it all is you could say, well, I have 100,000 followers. Well, you can't tell me who they are. And we don't really care from a business anymore because we just know the numbers and we just determine that some of those have got to be good.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, we'll give you some stuff and maybe you can help support and grow our brand. Um, you brought up TikTok and so now Instagram, and I've played a little bit with this. Instagram has something internally to it now called Reels. It's Reelz, and
Mm,
it's a way to post short video clips
mhm.
in Instagram, but it's Instagram's answer to TikTok. So
Right.
again, like you said, they're going to keep evolving into these other platforms, and people will follow and they'll leave one and go to another. And I know people that literally live on Facebook. And um, wow, I you know I I take a look at some of my mom's stuff and all the documenting she did. Very articulate. She spent a lot of time just writing, and she documented so many things, and I think, "Wow, what a waste of time." But you know what? It's how she passed her time.
Right.
So, I guess if it makes you happy, and you live on Facebook and that's where you are comfortable, then more power to you. I My 2021 pledge is to be outside more
Mhm,
and
mhm.
continue in experiencing things.
Well, I hope that's what 2020 brings for everybody, because I know that I can tell you just in my neighborhood, right? The difference between 2019 and 2020 were the number of people walking and going riding their bikes and
Yes.
getting out. And it's probably because it just became part of their routines with their family. And I truly hope and pray that that even if things start going back to normal in 2021, if they do, who knows what the world's gonna be like in California, especially. It is going to be that we continue these great habits. Now, I can say that I haven't necessarily created a bunch of great habits. 2020 did not become a habit changer for me, um, except for, like you said, the Facebook. Long ago, and I'll tell all the listeners in case you haven't heard this before, I put a blocker on my Chrome browser that blocks the news feed for Facebook. Okay, so I will not see you post something or do something if you happen to be part of that 5 to 7% that actually flashes in front of you, of your friends that flash in front of you. And like, there's a news feed. I won't see it. I will occasionally see it on my phone, but I rarely do Facebook on my phone. So I don't see that flow. And to me, that's been like, that was liberating. Like that
Yeah.
hour of getting caught up and going, oh, look at this. And oh, look, oh, what's the next one? Oh, what's the next one? Oh, look, I'm going to click on that video that Corey just posted of a kitty cat. Right. and, and,
Right.
and I'm like, that to me was a huge time suck. And so I ran across this plugin, I put it in there, and it said it shows me inspirational quotes every day. And that to me, that was great. And little changes like that, as a company, we use Facebook, and all my guys, my sales team, they have to be on Facebook, they have to be on Instagram, they have to be out there doing that. But in order to stay connected to the customers, in order to stay connected to the community, in order to stay connected. And that's the challenge. That's the evil sauce, right? It's
Right.
like they've created this addiction where we feel like, in order to be connected, even with our Jeeper buddies, it's like connected. We got these virtual Jeep groups who go in there and chat and BS with each other, right? So when was the last time you pick up the phone and go, "Hey, how's it
What are you
going?"
doing?
Right?
Well, and
What you doing?
that is interesting. That is the new um that is our new way to remain social, right? Like, and it's an expectation where, well, what do you mean? You didn't I posted it 2 weeks ago. You didn't know that I wrecked my car or my house caught on fire,
Right,
because
right.
that's how we all think we're going to get information from each other. Um,
Dude,
you'd mentioned, you said something perfect. You said, it's a time suck, and it really is, but it's only a time suck for people that have time to suck.
well, I don't know. There's a lot of people that don't have time that somehow still manage to get it sucked away by that.
It's funny, like, if you don't have anything else to do, I get it, like, you gotta find something to do, and my mom writing down the name of every single episode of every TV show that ever was on TV ever.
Right.
Um, so she had that kind of time, and that's how she spent it. But you know what? I think we need to reevaluate how we spend our time. And I mean, especially for those of our listeners out there that have family,
Mm,
close or elderly, or kids,
mhm.
or a significant other that probably would like to have some attention, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe this is the way to get away from it. Uh, but I just think it's important that if we're, I don't know, I just you could leave your house on any given day, and you don't get to come home that night. So during that day, did you live your life exactly the way you wanted to, or did you take advantage of saying hi to somebody rather than blowing by them? And, "Oh, I got to get home because I got to check Facebook." Well, that's kind of backwards. It's upside down.
Right. And it's the challenge I have because, you know, I, technology, right? We're the digital generation. I'm raising digital kids. Okay. Now I make sure that my 3 kids love books, right? I make sure that they love analog. I do everything I can to do that, but I cannot. And I swore there's no reason for my kids to have a pad. There's no reason for my kids to use a phone or even touch my phone. Like, there's plenty of time for them to learn that. Let them start out in the beginning with an analog world around them, so they understand and appreciate that. But it was unavoidable. I mean, it was unavoidable to not have them with. I mean, my 4-year-old has an HP laptop, has a Kindle Fire pad, right? Could open my phone and use it. I didn't show him. He just figured it out, right? He knows how to go in and do the settings and do photos and stuff. And it's cool. In fact, he's got his own Instagram page. We're starting to build photos he's taken in the phone. It's cool.
Nice.
But that's the digital world.
Right.
But the challenge for parents like myself, like I just bought them a couple of fishing poles, my 3-year-old and 4-year-old, and we're going to go out and sit on the side of a stream and fish, right? For no other reason than getting them to understand that there's a different life out there that they can go out and do and enjoy, or going out and it's raining outside and getting them dressed up and just go play in the puddles and get soaked, right? And get him away from that and understand that there's a different world out there that they can do things, and it's okay to get dirty, and it's okay to get messy, and it's okay to enjoy that. And get them. But there are so many kids that are just like, oh, here you go. Here's your computer. Go get babysat for 2 hours.
Yeah, and I just think that I'm kind of worried. I don't know what that next generation looks like. That especially the really young generation, like your kids are. I know that this last year, being able to do the Modern Jeeper adventures that we've done, being able to do some of the events that were scheduled, that means so much more to me than whether or not I can get my phone to charge. Uh, it's it's interesting, all of these events now. We have folks that are signing up for our adventures, and literally last week you got that done, and we threw it up on the website as we need to open up registration for our events, and there are people signing up now. I'm going to throw this out there, is that we may not even have a real good plan yet, but I know we can pull it off, and I know we'll make it work.
Right.
Because that's what we do, and we've done it
Right.
before, and we have a good time, and we take care of the folks that they're on these adventures with us. I'm very much looking forward to this year and getting to do some more of that. But again, I think that it's 18 degrees, I think, outside here right now. And I
Mm.
get it. We can't go outside. So what is there to do if you're stuck at home and you're working from home and all you have in front of you are devices and bottles of liquor?
I take one over the other. Which one, though? Which would you rather be addicted to? So it's true. And you've got all these different the technology, the batteries, the lines, the new tech, and of course, you've been an early adopter, right? You are definitely an early adopter compared to me. Like, I'm like, you know what? It was 2 years old. It was new back then, so it's fine now,
Must be
right?
fine. Yeah.
Must
Well,
be fine.
and we just talked about Big Sur, the new Mac OS
Mm,
release that just
right,
took place.
right.
That's a 12 gigabyte download. And I put it on my iMac and it worked pretty well. I downloaded it on my laptop and it failed twice before I was able to get the download to actually take. But again, I, maybe it's just my nature. I want to know what the new features are. I want to get to use them because I don't feel like I take good advantage of any technologies that we have. I'll buy new things and really not. It takes me maybe a year or two to figure it out. Well, by then it's outdated.
Right.
So, yeah, it's again the technologies are crazy as fast as they come out anymore.
Well, it's kind of funny. I will say that I've admired the new marketing campaigns that Apple's done, and so it's for the first year that I've been in a position where I'm going, God, I kind of want that new stuff. Like, I kind of want. I mean, I just bought last year a new laptop, the MacBook Pro, and I kind of want the new one, right? I want the new chip. I want the new M chip. I want this new stuff, and I'm looking at and you got the 12, right? The 12 Pro, and I'm looking at going, God, I kind of want that. And at the same time, all of a sudden, my phone, maybe it's heard me because all of a sudden, my little, I think this is a 7, is going, all starts messing up. It's not taking photos properly. The battery life is going. It's like that little
Wonder if that's
app.
on purpose.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't do that, would they? They wouldn't just like
No,
little things.
no.
And that's not as bad as I was it you I was talking to you yesterday, and I was looking at my computer, and usually the ads pop up for things you're interested in,
Yes.
and the ad that popped up was for Depends.
Uh-huh.
Wow,
Uh-huh.
it wasn't me, I swear. Or was it was yeah. And even worse thing, it was actually the Spanx version of It Depends.
Well, as you know, marketing is king, and all these companies do such a good job of, I mean, I have to have all my cameras have to be able to shoot in 4K because when I post stuff in 720p on YouTube, like,
Right.
how many people have 4K TVs in their house? I
Right.
don't think any of my TVs are 4K, yet I got to take a video in 4K on my phone. Because when you post it on Facebook, oh, by the way, that's not 4K.
It's better. It's better. It's better 4K. Just like 5G is better, right? So we got
Right.
4K, 5G, $6,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Well, now there's 8K TVs I saw.
Oh, wait, is that like 2 TVs together?
I saw some ad for it, and it was like a $12,000 TV or something.
Well, and that's a problem. Like TV technology keeps going and changing. Everything goes fast. So if you're going to go out there and bring this back to Jeep, you're going to go out there and buy the 4XE. I know it's a 4xe, but I'm going to call it the 4XE. You're going out and buying the 4xe. And it's mainly computers, and in a year and a half, it's going to be obsolete.
There's going to be something else next year. It doesn't stop. You can think you're going to get ahead of it. You can't.
Can you do a free upgrade? Can you do like the Jeep program? You can upgrade your vehicle every year and a half.
It'll be subscription based.
Dude, I'm telling you. Somebody comes out with it, then because that just goes into the used car market. Oh,
right.
Wait, that's called
a lease. Yeah,
that's called a lease.
Yeah, I guess they already do that. See, they're smarter than us.
They are smarter than us. But it's what I want the subscription service that says, oh yeah, so yeah, this week I'm going to shake that car. It's kind of like in New York City and some of the big cities, you've got car clubs, right? And it's exclusive clubs. You come in and you walk in, you grab the keys to the Lambo, right? Yep. I want the car club that has like I'll take the Hemi powered JT out this weekend. Okay.
Yeah, I want to change this up a little bit.
I want to change it up a little bit. And then
variety is the spice of life.
Right. Next week I'll take the Razor, but
right.
So it's somebody else's garage that you're borrowing.
I kind of like that. I mean,
that's the name for it. Like your buddy's garage.
Your buddy's garage. Somebody else. Yeah. Jay Leno's garage.
No, dude. Yeah. You notice how he actually doesn't ever drive his own vehicles on the show? It's always somebody else's that's showing up.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, he's smart like that because then you just have to fix them.
Right. You go out and play with them. I'm going to go jump. Yeah, you're not jumping my vehicle. Right.
Yeah, no. I'm going to take care of my stuff. I'll happily drive anything you bring me.
Right. Well, guys, little quick episode for you. We have next week is going to be quite a treat, though. Yes. We're putting together a cadre of some of our favorite people. And so on Thursday's show, it is going to be a Christmas Eve special. And we will do what we can to put it all together, but it's going to be fun. So it's all going to be about ugly sweaters and Christmas hats and Christmas carols and eggnog. Some spiked, some not.
Yeah, it'll be good. And this episode we didn't really start off going down. We covered a whole bunch of ground.
And this is what's fun about these. And we're next year we'll get back into interviews, and of course we're a couple different things. The end of the year, either the end of the year or the beginning of the year, we'll do our round table that we did, talking about what 2020 was like and what 2021 will be. And then we are pursuing this round table discussion with all of you. And so we're working out a way to do something where we're going to bring in a bunch of you guys. And this could be like literally like, 50 of you all on a Zoom call recorded and just having a discussion about things and having fun. Who knows what it'll be like, but Maybe not. Maybe we'll be smart and we'll just do like 5 or 6 of you because the rest of you just are too crazy for us. But we're going to figure it out, and we're going to do something so we want to know what your year was like and what it was for. So it should be fun. It should be a good time.
Yeah, for sure. It's there's a lot of projects still taking place out there. We're kind of in the lull of event season right now, so we should have a pretty full schedule going into next year. So hopefully you guys are paying attention to dates of events and gonna schedule some time to get out. I've had lots of questions about the adventures already, and like I said, we'll make changes as we can. We'll get through this next hopefully month, and then we'll have some normalcy back in our event schedule. So yeah, hang tight, and thanks for hanging in with us and following along with us.
That word normalcy. I don't know what
I hate it.
What is normal going to be?
It's
Wait, I don't think there is a normal. I'm going around and I'm thinking, you know what? And we talked about this at the beginning of the year. In Japan or in Asia, it's pretty common for when you're ill, people walk around like this and they have their masks on or whatever. It's like that could be the new normal. Are we just never going to ever like walk into a store and have somebody like, is all the plexiglass going to stay up? And are we going to have sneeze guards everywhere and you can't walk into someplace? Even one of my guys, I walked up to him to fist bump him and he did the elbow thing, right? And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I can do that. I can do the elbow thing, but it's like, it just, is this our new world?
Well, what's nice is we don't have the flu anymore. So that went away.
That went away. Right. Well, I was watching a release, by the way, talk about technology, a release of a car called Zoox, I think it is Zoox. It is a automated, like a taxi. It's a self-driving autonomous taxi service, fully designed from the ground up. Looks very much like something you might have seen in some futuristic, movie. Doors slide open, you sit in, facing each other. It's totally autonomous, right? But the people doing the release video, the CTO or CO or CTO and the CEO are 8 feet apart from each other on the release video. Like that's like they're social distancing when they're talking about the release video.
Huh.
It's a weird normal that I hope that we get beyond, because people were meant to be close to each other. People were meant to hug. People were meant to hold hands. People were meant to have that close contact. Social distancing is not good for mental health. That's a whole nother episode. We'll catch you next year on it.
There you go.
All right, my friends. Well, it's been another great episode of the Modern Jeeper Show. We appreciate you being a part of the show. We appreciate you hanging out with us for this time. If you like this episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there. Subscribe to YouTube for us.
Yes, please.
Absolutely. If you like, if you're using it, if you're listening to us online, go out there, do the 5-star rating, whatever it is your service likes. Just let people know about us and share your comments, because we like your comments, we like your feedback, and we read them all. So we might just go back there and go, that's very true. We need to implement that, and we'll give that guy a shirt, because we do have our Modern Jeeper. If you guys haven't seen this, and that was a bunch of noise of keys coming out.
Oh yeah, there's new stuff. Yes,
we do have our Modern Jeeper shirt. We have our Metalcloak mugs. We have Metalcloak jackets coming out. And if you didn't see my live thing on Facebook, go check it out now, because we have the Metalcloak ornaments, which are being given out. So it's all kinds of fun stuff, but it's all about you guys, because if it wasn't for you guys, there'd be no reason for us.
That's right.
So thank you again, all Modern Jeepers out there. We will see you on the trail.
Cheers.